Like right now, I consider SPG a top 3, if not higher, in APAC right now. Okay, so let's start with the question of, do I think anyone is talented currently enough? I think if there's 11, 12 teams in VCT APAC, we are not the only team that can pick up an Indian player.
Exactly.
They're all fully available to play for any team. They're all eligible to play for any team. There's no import rules for any of them. So if there was someone that was fucking insane, I promise he's going to be on a team. Like I said, talent trumps all, because I think the fans played a big part in Boom being able to make that close. Not that Boom is bad. I just think SPG is that good. I really think, like, at the end of the day, bro, like, you got to shoot heads, and
Shoot
that's
heads.
what's
Yeah.
important in this game. And so,
Exactly.
I feel like they just didn't have enough shooting head potential with the previous roster. Like even the whole trial process, like I was so worried. I was like, bro, what do you mean we're about to do 90 plus or however many people was person trial? I was like, bro, I've never done that. It sounds like a waste of time to me. It
Mm-hmm.
does. It sounds like a waste of time to me. I'll tell you right now, I'm glad we did it. And the reality is that the people we trialed, not one Indian player was the best at his role.
Mm-hmm.
The closest was lightning fast.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. A video that I kind of had a little bit of hiccups to record, but finally I've gotten Juvenile here. First of all, welcome Juvenile to GE to India. Have you been to India yet?
No, man, but I'm not gonna lie. Even before I joined GE, going to India was like on my bucket list. Or
Mm.
I let's stop calling it bucket list, travel list, because bucket list means you can do it when you're close to dying.
Yeah.
So travel list, it's been on my travel list for quite a while now,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, even more now, bro. I want to go so badly. I was actually so sad that the off-season event that we had there was canceled, because I was genuinely super excited to be going to India.
Yeah, I wanted to know a little bit about you before we get into what you're going to be doing here. So you've been head coach across your entire life. You've been a TSM, a crew, you've been an OXG. How has the coaching journey been for you? What's been the best part of the last 4 years for your life in coaching?
Oh, I mean, in coaching, the best part of my last 4 years, honestly, probably the Lev, dude. Even though I wasn't the head coach at Lev, dude, that experience was so sick. Like, I've been in esports for a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I've won LAN events. I've traveled internationally. I've done all these type of things as a player.
Yeah.
Um, but the esports has grown so big now, man. It's just so cool. Like, I've never had so many people ask me for my signature, and all I was the assistant coach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just walking behind Aspas, and just the cool aspects of all that stuff, like being recognized in Cali, like when we were living in LA, you get
Yeah.
recognized walking around. You know what I mean? Like that stuff is just so cool to me. So that was probably my coolest experience, best experience. And champs was definitely something that I want to experience again, bro. So that's a big motivation for me.
Mm-hmm.
This season, and making sure that we do what we're supposed to, so we can get experience it, and you guys can experience it with us, honestly.
Yeah, I think a lot of the part of your life you've been a head coach. So what actually motivated you to take up an assistant coach, knowing that it would not be your head front space that will be part of the team? What made you take up Leviathan?
Yeah, there's very few teams in the entire world that I would take an assistant coach job for behind a different head coach. And so the main reason that I went with that is because I know Idapata personally. Me
Mm-hmm.
and Idapata worked together before at TSM. He was my assistant coach at TSM. And so I was excited to have a chance to learn, because as a head coach, it's very hard to learn what you're doing right, learn what you're doing wrong, learn how to improve, what you can do different.
Yeah.
Because you don't get to see the inside workings of other teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really excited for that opportunity. And then in general, just getting my foot back in the door, man. Like I took a break from Valorant for quite a while after that. I started coaching tier two Orgless for a while. For about 6 months, I coached them.
Mm-hmm.
Split one in the beginning of split two. And so yeah, just getting my foot back in the door. And I knew once I got my foot in the door, I'm very good at what I do, bro. Like I don't. It sounds cocky, yada yada yada, whatever. But like I'm good at this.
Now, I
And
think we
so
needed a little bit of that.
yeah, I'm good at this. So I was really excited to like just get my foot in the door, and I knew that once I got my chance, like I would do well.
Mm,
And obviously the Lev team, they already made Shanghai, bro. That's already hard enough as is. Obviously they failed at Shanghai, but they were obviously a good team. So I was really
yeah.
excited to see what we could do with that roster, with Ida Pata having control and my input. I thought we would be good, and obviously we were.
What was it like? Yeah, I think a lot of people would want to know this, right? Especially the people who watch from South Asia, because he is that big. He is, the icon right now. Has been for the last 2 years. What's it like being with Aspas? What's he like as a person?
He is a consummate professional, bro. That is what makes him so great. Is his consistency, how serious he takes this. He takes this like it is his life, and it is, bro. Just like it should be for all these players. Like, this is a life-changing opportunity. This is an opportunity that, like, bro, like outside of esports, bro, like I'm gonna go work at a normal, retail job, or like, you know what I mean. Like, this is what my life is, and so just like him, he understands it. He understands that, like, this is a way to change his life for the good, and he
Mm-hmm.
takes it to that level. Like his consistency. Like, bro, has consistent day to day. His day to day stays consistent. His
Yeah.
his routine stays consistent. This dude is like, eating bananas and doing everything you can, the small things that you can do to gain an edge. He does it all, bro. And that's why he's as good as he is. And I really hope to bring at least some of that to our players this season, as far as like the professionalism and how serious they should be taking this, and how important this is for them.
Considering the variety of your oh yeah, you got
I'm
it.
getting attacked by mosquitoes. Sorry, brother.
That's all
Yeah.
right. Considering the variety that you've experienced across the entire, planet, you've been in NA for most of your career, but you've mentioned before as well in your previous interviews that you've been drawn to APAC. What brought you, first of all, to the Orgless team that eventually became elevated, and what made you continue to stay in APAC? Having been in NA for so long, why not EMEA as well? There's a follow up with that.
Yeah, I mean, so coaching with Orgless, one of the things that I realized, and I think you sort of already know this just from generalized knowing cultures and stuff, but like being with Orgless, you just realize that, like, automatically, like, in NA and EMEA, the players, and it's not a bad thing, but they have egos. They've
Mm,
been there, done that. It's harder to gain their trust. It's harder to gain their respect. And versus an APAC, I feel like that's more so given to you a little naturally. You still have to earn some of it. You still have to gain some of it, but some of it's automatically given to you as an elder, as the leader, as all that stuff is like culture wise. You guys automatically respect that person.
yeah,
And that's something that definitely draws it to me, because it's easier to coach that way, bro. When I don't have to fight through egos, and I don't have to fight through I know better than you stuff,
yeah.
it makes my job 1,000 times easier and 1,000 times more fun. You know what I mean? Because then I feel like I can actually make a difference for some of these players, because I can genuinely, and like again, it sounds egotistical, but bro, I've been doing this for so long, I can tell you what the right play to make is like 90% of the time. You
Mm,
know what I mean? Like 90%
yeah,
of the time, whatever, if I tell you this, it's supposed to go this way, it's probably the right thing. Um, I don't know everything, and I'm still open to learning. That's one of the reasons I got elevated. I got a mind that thinks different than me,
yeah.
so that I could learn from him. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think I was drawn to APAC in general, is just the ability to make an impact with some of these players. And then in general, like, I think the talent is there in APAC. I think the talent is definitely there in APAC. It's
Mm,
just about being coached correctly and putting them to the right system, and doing what you can to help them achieve their goals.
right. So APAC has, I put it this way, you said, yeah, of course, the NA players have a little bit more ego, and do you feel in terms of skill, is there a difference between the NA players you've seen and coached and the APAC players that you've seen and coached?
Nah, the skill's the same. There's no, if anything, like maybe even some of the APAC players are like more talented.
Is
Like
it
the
because
aim
of the
here is insane.
chaos?
Yeah, maybe because they thrive in chaos, and, like, the aim's a little bit more flicky, and like they play with less CS rules, right? Like
Mm,
in NA and EMEA, so much of the game is based on the rules of Counter Strike.
mm,
Defaulting and crosshair placement and all this small stuff is stuff that they've been learning, and they've been coached, they've been taught since early on, and a lot of the Valorant players in APAC, like, CS wasn't a thing. Like, maybe a few of them are CS players, but the majority of them are just gamers. Played Fortnite or played PUBG or played whatever the game is. They're not necessarily come from the house or the rules of Counter Strike. They have
yeah.
their own mind, and I think that definitely changes the way they aim, and maybe makes their aim look a little bit more flicky and more sick. But yeah, like, the talent is definitely very comparable. I don't think one region is considerably better than the other, or anything like that. I think all the regions are pretty even as far as like top tier talent is probably pretty similar.
Did you have any offers being sent to you from EMEA and China?
No exact offers. Though China was somewhere that I did look at maybe possibly going. I just didn't have any clue on how to even get in contact. Even with my agency. So I'm signed with an agency.
Hmm.
Even with my agency, there was no, like, yeah, we don't. there's no really like breaking into the Chinese organizations. But EMEA, I was in talks with Vitality,
Mm-hmm.
never got any offers. We were just in the middle of the progress and the process of interviewing and all that kind of stuff. And I think it was maybe me and two other coaches at some point,
Yeah.
were like the last three they were looking at. But GE had sent me an offer, and for me it was take the for sure thing over a maybe.
Mm.
And then, like I said before, I also really thought I had a chance to win at GE. I thought the bottom of APAC was a little weak, and I thought the top of APAC was somewhere. That last year there was what, 5 teams realistically competing for champs. The rest of the teams are sort of out of contention,
Yeah.
and so I thought that sort of gave you an opportunity. If you could be that fifth, fourth team, realistically break into. I think that's a realistic goal, if you have the talent and the coaching there.
Yeah. Speaking of insane player, I'm just gonna, the usual ones are there, but there's one that you are gonna be facing off, at least for the very sake of the fact that they are gonna be, if you are facing them in stage one, that's gonna be the case. Dambi is coming in with the complete and utter brokenness of anything. I swear, I had never witnessed a team until Paper X, who played the way they did. Paper X kind of slowed down over the years. They kind of, meshed into a little bit more of a, they wanted to play off a little bit more contact. They kind of put the W gaming to, you know what, okay, we can probably half the W. But then SPG came in and they reinvented, reimaginated what W gaming could be. And Dambi was like the forefront of it.
Yeah.
What do you think of SPG? Just give me that.
I think they're fucking great. I love whoever their coach or IGL is. I love the way they play. I love their strats. I love their comps. One of the most impressive things I've seen in this game, period, is the comp they came up with on Ascent. And they ran, I think it was against a Riddle order. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but they ran that Neon, Brim, Harbor. I
Yep.
don't even remember the other agents, but it was insane the way they ran it, the way they ran it down. And the thing is, like, that's sort of what I'm saying or Neon breaks. All this stuff is possible because of Neon. If they don't have Neon, I think that W gaming doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But Neon enables that W gaming right now to a new degree than PRX ever could have done. Like,
Yeah.
if they practice, if PRX wants the W gaming again and they practice the hell out of Neon, like, I think you would see the old PRX back, but like even more improved if they got an insane Neon like Dambi.
Do you think this current version of PRX stand a chance against SPG's W gaming? Like when they go head to head, it's like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. But with a factor that PaperX are not really buying into the Neon, are they? With Jing playing on it, he's not been the best Neon so far.
Yeah, I haven't really seen too much of PRX this offseason or what they've been doing, but what I will say is SPG is fucking good. I expect if the thing is for SPG is if Neon gets nerfed, it kills their playstyle and what makes them great right now.
Yeah.
And so when, it's not if, it's when Neon gets nerfed, I'm a little worried about their adjustments that they're going to be able to make. They're still going to be very good.
Hmm.
SPG is good as a team. That's not just Neon. It's good as a team.
Yeah.
But the way they like playing is enabled by Neon.
Yeah.
And so if Neon is not able to do the things that she does, I think that you'll see a very good SPG still, but I don't know. Like right now, I consider SPG a top three, if not higher, in APAC right now. That I very like in kickoff. If
Hmm.
nothing changes with the game, I could see SPG making masters, no questions asked.
Wow. All right. That is quite the shout ahead of quite the few teams that have been here for a while. I honestly, I would love it as well because the minute I saw them that first game against Revenant, first, yeah, we were 7-0 up and then we just kind of tumbled down and then they beat a full sense 13-0 in an upper final, right, to get to Ascension final. I kind of like, I was like, okay, you know what? I have a new team that I really love right
I really love them. I'm
now.
not gonna lie. Out of anything I've ever been a fan of, I might be a fan of them for real. Because it's like I love the way they play. I also love an underdog story. I
Mm.
love underdog stories in general, and so
Yeah,
I would say they're still an underdog for sure.
they have come from Premier to VCD Pacific, so that is quite the story. And also because of the fact that they've just got one coach, 5 players, and they're just at it. They're no bullshit, and it's just that is the synergy, right? At the speed at which they play, is the synergy at what they maintain of who knows what to do, who knows how to move, where to move, what to cover. Everything is just perfect from them. But SPG, of course, is one. Did you watch the Ascension final, by the way, of Pacific?
Yeah, I watch all of Ascensions. I watch every single Ascension, I think, including China. But yeah, I watch every single Ascension. But so yeah, I watched the grand finals. I don't know if it would have been anywhere as close if it wasn't where it was
in Indonesia.
in Indonesia. Yeah, because I think the fans played a big part in Boom being able to make that close. Not that Boom is bad. I just think SPG is that good,
Hmm.
honestly.
All right. Okay. Well, now that you're, NG, let's come towards our team itself. Speaking about last season, right? I just want to have a little bit of a talk about what did you think of the previous iteration? Where do you think they were good, and where did you think they might have not worked as much upon?
Yeah, the stuff they were doing. Outside, you guys might love this. Outside of the bind of solo Viper comp, the
I
things they
remember
were
raging
doing,
on that.
I only watched like a match or two of you guys, but like the matches that I watched, what you guys did made sense. Like the way you were playing made sense. It seemed like the teamwork was there. It seemed like you guys were playing a little bit of the correct way. I just really feel like the talent wasn't there. As far as being able, you know what I mean? Like yeah, you can be middle of the pack, but like if you want to win at the top level at this game, you have to have talent, bro. You have to have a lot of talent. These teams and these players are insane. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
not good, they're insane. Like I've never seen like let Lev. I've never seen better. I've never had five better aimers on a team ever than Lev.
Mm.
And I really think like at the end of the day, bro, like you got to shoot heads, and
Shoot
that's
heads.
what's
Yeah.
important in this game. And so,
Exactly.
I feel like they just didn't have enough shooting head potential with the previous roster.
Yeah, there was a lot of discourse around that as well, but they felt like what, we could have gone around that. They tried a lot, to maybe work on the strategy part. That bind single controller comp was quite the head scratcher, because I remember when I was watch partying that game, I lost my mind. Absolutely lost
Yeah,
my mind.
I went back and watched it, and it wasn't really the comp. Like obviously the comp is not good, but it was really the
The
way
way
they
they
were
were
playing.
playing, yeah.
Yeah, it was less the comp and more like
They
what they
had
were doing.
they had a double initiator, and they were playing contact on B long for at least three,
Yeah,
four
for the
times.
entire time. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
on attack, like they just never like if you want to contact, that's fine, but like be ready to instantly throw util on that contact. The whole point
exactly.
of contacting is that like you're not letting the other team do retaliation util essentially, right? I don't know the better word for that. So
Yeah.
like normally like when you execute, you throw your util, the other team's just gonna throw their util to counter you, right?
Hmm.
Versus contacting, you still need that one piece of util ready to fly out of your hands the second you hit that contact so that you're still util dumping them. You're just contacting until then.
Yeah. So this current squad you've spent a couple of weeks with now. You've known that you've got these players to work with. What excited you the most about the G project when Rushi came to you?
Yeah, I mean, originally, like the main thing is, like I said, the ability to win here. I really thought APAC in general was a region I could win in, and then GE itself, like I really loved their mindset of like coming in, they told me anything to win. This we all in. This is an all in season from everything they've told me is like whatever you need, whatever it takes, we're here to win. You just let's go. All right.
Hmm.
And I really love that. I really enjoyed that. And then yeah, like everything's been amazing, bro. They've done everything I've asked. They've helped in every single way they've asked. Like even the whole trial process, like I was so worried. I was like, bro, what do you mean we're about to do 90 plus or however many people was person trial? I was like, bro, I've never done that. It sounds like a waste of time to me. It
Hmm.
does. It sounds like a waste of time to me. I'll tell you right now, I'm glad we did it because we wouldn't have had Patrick Watson.
Yeah.
Um, and we probably wouldn't have had some of these players in this team because coming into this roster, if I showed you the names that I had on the list of players that I was interested in at the beginning, I don't think we got any of them. I don't think I have a single player
Hmm.
from that list. Like maybe Papi Chulo, I'm not really sure. I don't know if I even put him on the list. I think I had like Scary and some of these other people like on that list.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad that we did the trials because I feel like we did come up with the best possible team we could have because of the trials, honestly.
All five of these players currently in our squad are some of the highest rated from their previous ascensions, or in the tier two that they played, right? Udotan and Udotan was, again, for the role he was playing, he was one of the highest rated in China. We also have the three Filipino core that were really, really good, on their respective teams. And Crystal, of course, he's been amazing. He won Ascension, so he deserved to be, and is in tier one, of course, right now. But when you saw these five, when you see the names, right, for the first time, you're like, okay, you know what, we've got these five players. What was your first impression? Like, what did you think? Is this something you can challenge trophies with?
So it's just name value? nah, bro. Like these guys are some random ass tier 2 players. But seeing them
Mm-hmm.
play,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, bro. Like every single one of these players are very good. Udotan has probably impressed me the most of anyone. Like
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was good. I knew he was good. I didn't think he was gonna be this good. Like he is so smart. He almost doesn't make mistakes. He says exactly what needs to be said. He calms amazing. Like for someone who's like quote unquote, I have bad English is what he will tell you. Nah,
Mm-hmm.
bro, this in communication wise, his English is perfect. He says everything that needs to be said. He's loud. He's vocal when he needs to be. He gives space. He takes space. He almost does not make mistakes. Patrick Watson, obviously, I've said a bajillion things about this kid. You guys can go watch his clips on Twitter. This guy is insane. It's not just Neon. He's just very good in general. Crystal, obviously, he's done. Out of anyone else, he's probably the quote unquote most experienced, right? He had the APAC Ascension run where he placed second, and he had the Chinese Ascension run where he placed first.
Yep.
And I think his results in both of those and his stats in both of those sort of speak for themselves. He's a very unique player as far as being able to frag from the initiator position. He reminds me a little bit of Trex, actually, where he's just like less util first, more shoot you in the head first, which
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And then Papi Clutch King, like dead ass, like no matter if it's a 1v3, like I genuinely not just think he has a chance to win it, I think there's a good chance he's gonna win it. Like no no matter the situation, I'm always like watching him, be like, let's see what he does this time to like win this round, because he just. It's almost like his mind just works faster in clutch situations too.
Mm-hmm.
And like I used to be like that as a player because I was
Yeah.
very cerebral. I felt like once I'm in a 1v3, I'm just gonna outthink you, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
he does. He outthinks you, but he also has insane aim. And like his aim gets better in clutches too. It's like, bro, I just need to somehow to get this guy to like convince himself he's in a clutch 24/7 or something, because he just gets better when he's in a clutch. And then Kelly S, yeah, Kelly S is like the type of IGL I want. He's a micro IGL, but he can also frag. Like this guy used to play Raze Duelist. Go look at his Raze Duelist stats. It's very good. Look at his KO stats from last season. They're very good. This guy is in fragging positions who
Mm-hmm.
can IGL, and let me not say like Boaster, let me not say like FNS, but he can IGL in the general vicinity of those types of players.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I'm really excited for this season and this team, and I think that I think we have the chance to do great. We have to put in the work still. We have to prove it, but I think the ability is definitely there.
Right. I really like the fact that we're kind of a mystery team still. We don't really nobody really knows how it's going to be when the season starts. Nobody knows how G is going to perform until G actually performs. But me personally, as somebody who's been watching for a while, and now I'm a part of G, but I still have my I like being unbiased because that's how my audience enjoys. I have a couple of things that I had noted down on one of my previous streams where I put a couple of pros and cons of what this roster initially on first looks could probably have. And I'm gonna read them out to you, and I want you to tell me how exactly the team's been working, or if at all this is a con or a pro, right? So I'm gonna talk about pros first. We've got a great Filipino core, obviously, to create that has a lot of great chemistry forming opportunity. Of course, a Champions Podium finishing assistant coach, who's now a head coach. All players incredibly cracked, like you said. Talent is there. We've got firepower this time around in abundance across all players. Every single player who's played is right now on the roster has been extremely highly rated. Is either top 5 or top 3 in their most recent tournaments and have been consistent enough. Mid rounding, I think, is going to be extremely focused upon by you, especially because you've got Chris and Papi both, who are great callers as well, who've done calling for their teams. And of course, like we just mentioned, clutch potential. Are there any other pros that you think that you've already seen that you are not worried about that these players have for sure?
Hunger. I think nerves are not really going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Even though people think they will be, I think they won't be. Because part of the thing is for me, like as far as nerves, is like if you practice how you're going to play matches, you're less nervous because been there, done that. You've seen how these situations will play out. You see how these scenarios will play out, and you played them the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, that's the big thing for me. It's definitely hunger. Is going to be like the biggest pro because I really want a team that's hungry. I really want a team that was excited to win, excited to be here, excited to be at practice, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think all those things would be a pro, and I think your pros overall fit pretty well.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna come to the cons that this is my opinion that I thought that I saw initially before anything at all, and this was even before I had a chance to look at the scrims. By the way, just letting you know. Right. All right. Overall team chemistry. I'm not talking about the three Filipinos with Udotan and Crystal coming in. I thought it might take a couple of weeks of prac and bonding. Um, IGL role settlement I thought will take a little bit time for Kellyus because he's coming in. He's also is he having a role change?
A little bit.
A
Like he
little bit.
played a lot of KO last year. And he's still playing some KO, but it's not like an every map thing. So yeah, a little bit he's doing, but he's played. If you go look at his VLR, he's played a lot of these agents already. It's just being them more consistently and playing them, in my system.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
The role changes overall because we do have a couple of role changes here and there. Patrick's inexperience that will need to be sharpened a little bit because he just came out last year and now he's already going to be on the biggest stage. Comms was a maybe for me. Overall team comms, which I was going to ask. These are the ones that I was like, these are proper cons. Something that was a maybe would be a Neon nerf if it comes mid-season and adaptation to the meta that might form as we go across the entire season. What are your thoughts? Do you think there's anything that's already you've visibly seen?
So add on to these cons is what you're asking?
No, anything in these or anything that you want to add on that you
Yeah,
particularly have noticed?
what I'll say is inexperienced with Patrick Watson. I definitely think there's sometimes where you can be so inexperienced that you don't get caught up in the moment, right? Like you don't even understand how big this moment is because you're just so inexperienced. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's something for him where he's just like he's just excited. The biggest thing I've tried to learn and try to teach myself in life in general is like how to turn nervousness into excitement. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's nervous. Everyone nervousness is a normal reaction. It's a normal human emotion. It's how to turn that nervousness into excitement.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes when you're so newbie, for a better term, when you're so newbie, just like he doesn't get that this is like the biggest thing in his entire life ever. It's
Yeah.
just like he's just a kid playing video games, like it just doesn't matter. It's cool as fuck to him, so everything's
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
He doesn't get that it's like holy fuck, I should be nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's something for him. As far as the neon nerfs, as far as he goes, I wouldn't worry. His jet is great. And he's just his aim is so good that I think he could pick up any agent. We could put him on any agent. But his jet is great. His raise is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that we'll be working on. And then I also plan on making him add Uru and stuff like that. And so yeah, we'll have. I'm not too worried about a neon because as much as we're gonna have to deal with the neon nerf, so does everyone else.
Yeah.
It's not just us that are gonna be dealing with that nerf. And I think his jet will be at top of the APAC as well. Like genuinely, I think his jet will be near the top of APAC. His op is very good. So yeah, I'm not too worried about Patrick Watson really at all. Communication has not been an issue at all. Everyone here speaks at the very least decent English. Udotan will say he doesn't, but he does. His English is way better than he gives on.
All right.
Um, Crystal, the only issue we had early on with Crystal is accents.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a 2 3 day thing, and now for the most part we can understand everything he's saying. His English is also very good. He's gonna also say it's not perfect, but it ain't perfect, but it's pretty damn close to he can speak about anything we need to speak about.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, what were some of the other ones? I can definitely answer the rest.
Overall team chemistry with Udotan and Crystal with the three Filipinos.
That is definitely that's something that's just going to be fixed by them being here. That's why we're so excited for them to get here. I definitely don't think there's any chemistry issues. That's one of the reasons why I split them up. I don't know if people have been paying attention, but I split them up for ranked.
Mm-hmm.
And so last week they had different ranked partners. This week they have different ranked partners, and they're going to continue that throughout the season. We're like, you need you guys play as ranked because we don't scrim a ton. We scrim 4 maps. There's other teams playing 6 7 maps a
Yeah.
day. You know what I mean? And so that's fine. We'll play less maps for scrims, but that means you guys need to get your ass into rank and still be grinding the game. It's not an excuse to grind the game any less.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I have them playing ranked, and that's helping a little bit with that. And dude, this team is chill. Everyone likes each other. We haven't had a single issue yet. I'm sure
That's
at
great.
some point someone's gonna get upset at each other. That's normal team stuff. It's not unheard of. Even normal relationships, right?
Yep.
There ain't a single perfect relationship. Every relationship's gonna have problems, and friendships and teamships and all that kind of stuff is the same thing. It's about being able to communicate, about to talk about them. That's one thing I think I'm really good at as an adult, as a communicator, as a very person who's good at confrontation. I'm not afraid to push the envelope to make us speak. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? If you have an issue, let's talk about it, bro. Let's just get it out in the air.
Yeah.
Let's get this shit laundried out, and then let's move the fuck on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's be adults about this shit. And so yeah, that's one thing I think I'll definitely be able to help a lot with. And yeah, and they're funny. Udaton's really funny. Patrick Watson's pretty funny. Crystal's a little funny. Like everyone's a little funny, bro. Everyone's a little funny. So, it's definitely exciting, and I'm excited for the rest of the PH players to get here because even just going out, we're gonna be working out to the gym 3 days a week
Yeah.
as a team. And
Yeah.
elevated included, me
Mm-hmm.
elevated included. We're gonna go to the gym 3 times a week. There's like a trail down the right below our apartment.
Yeah.
About a mile and a half, or I guess in kilometers, like maybe 2 kilometers. I guess I don't really know.
Yeah.
But about a 15-20 minute walk. 15-20 minute walk down this little trail. You go to a like a man-made waterfall. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I'm gonna have us do at least like once a week or something. Maybe we'll have a team meeting at the end of that walk, right? Like we'll go walk the end of the thing. We'll go chill at this little coffee shop that's right underneath the waterfall, and we'll just sit and drink coffee and chill one morning and just like have a talk.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I have a lot of plans for us as a team to like build that team camaraderie because we are
Mm.
behind, bro. These other teams, like a lot of them haven't made any changes. If they have made changes, maybe one or two players here.
Yeah.
And so they do have a little bit of a head start like that, and that's what I've told these guys is like we are behind. We have to work harder than everybody else. We don't got a choice. If you guys want to be where you guys want to be, and you guys want to be as good as we think we can be, we got to put in the work in. As much as I like talking, I also like doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. I can talk all off season. If we don't do what we're supposed to, it don't mean shit.
Yeah.